Hey curl friends, and welcome back to Cocaknotz, home of the Long Hair Society. To become a valued member of the Long Hair Society, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button and you can be a valued member and learn what it takes to get long, luscious, thick, strong hair. If you want to see how I achieved this beautiful protective style of 28-inch Mongolian hair extensions, please stay tuned and watch this video. You do not want to miss this transformation. I transformed her 16 inches of natural hair into 28 inches of this beautiful curl, so stay tuned. If you missed the last video, make sure you go ahead and watch that. I show you how I prepped her hair for this protective style. Prepping your hair for a protective style is so important. It's just as important as removing a protective style. You have to make sure you finger detangle, and you only can do that with the Ultimate Detangler. You're going to have to make sure you use a natural shampoo along with a hot oil treatment. And once you do all of that, you're able to really maneuver the hair and get it ready for a blow dry. I used a blow dry oil. Yes, it's a natural heat protectant. And then I used the anti-frizz braid down cream. Yes, you can grab all these from cocaknotz.com. Look at her hair. This is after a soft blow dry. Her hair is about 17 inches and she's trying to get to 24 inches, honey. So let's grab them hair extensions. I'm using 28 inches of Mongolian deep wave curl. Listen, you guys, I'm going to drop the vendor very soon. A lot of you guys have been asking me, who's my vendor? Who's my vendor? And I cannot wait to share it with you guys because my vendor, I have been using them for years. They are so reliable. The hair does not smell like corn chips. It does not shed. You would not have problems with tangling. You can literally have this hair for years. So right now I am customizing the hair extensions. You guys know I believe in customizing your hair extensions by coloring it. Yes, color it the same color as your hair. Even if you feel the extensions are the same color as your hair, make sure you still put a gloss or something on the extensions. It's going to make it look even better. So once I have finished with the hair extensions, it's time for the braid down, honey. Let's get into it. I am very gentle when I braid because I believe when it comes to a sewing, it is not about how tight you braid the hair. It's about how you knot them threads, honey. So I keep basically the same braid pattern for all my sewings. I make sure I never braid straight back. I always try to tell you guys, don't ever let nobody braid your hair straight back, girl, because you ain't going to have no hair in the nape. No, do not let nobody do that to you. You guys, there are other braid patterns that are just as effective. And I usually keep about the same size of braiding. I usually don't do it too small because we don't need it to be that small. But I make sure I don't do it too big as well. And because I already blow dry the hair softly, I didn't blow dry it too straight, but I make sure I blow dry it enough that way it's a little bit more gentle on the person's hair. And because I saturated their hair with a lot of natural oils and I finger detangle mostly before I blow dried, I won't really risk the person's hair of getting any heat damage or losing any hair. Because I blow dried already, it makes it easy for me to finger detangle. I never run the comb through again. Once I do a light combing before I blow dry, I do not comb anymore throughout the install at all because I want this to truly be a protective style. So I use my fingers to detangle before I start a braid. Make sure you're very gentle. If the braids are too tight, they gonna lose some hair. Trust me. If your braids are tight, you are losing hair strands by the second. So make sure your braids are not too tight. It is not necessary to have tight braids, okay? And you don't have to be yanking on nobody hair at all either, okay? Because you want to make sure that this is a protective style, meaning it's in full protection mode, meaning you are not harming their hair and you are not damaging their hair or plucking their hair or making it too tight. So I do my braids in somewhat of a circular motion, but not really a circle. It's more like a basket weaving. And as you can see, every time I braid, when I get towards the end, I usually tuck and put in another braid into that braid and keep on going. Okay, that way by the end of the sewing, I don't have too many loose ends to sew up. I hope that made sense, but just pay attention to the video and you will get my drift. And if you've been watching all of my videos, you should pretty much understand how to do a great sewing for someone who has thick natural hair. There are many people who use different patterns for natural hair, but I've been using the same pattern for the last 8 years. And even before I started doing natural thick hair, it worked for straight hair as well. But it works even better with big, thick hair, because no matter how thick the person's hair is and no matter how long it is, even if it's 24 inches, this braiding pattern will work. It's still gentle and it still will help promote growth. I hope you just seen how I tucked that last braid into that braid that I was currently working on, so you can see how I don't have any loose braided ends, and I just tuck and braid, and this is less tension on the client's hair, and it's still going to be super flat. Now I use the tail of the comb to do my parting, and then I just finger detangle it through and I just start braiding, and you won't have any problems. Listen, you guys, you really can reduce the amount of times you use a comb in one install, and the less you comb someone's hair, the more length retainment they will have, because combing your hair is just going to cause friction. It's going to disrupt the electrical charge, and I'll get more into electricity in your hair in another video, but trust me, you don't need the comb as much as you think. You really don't. Finger detangling will do so much when it comes to helping detangle your hair. She is all done now and ready to sew in her inches. Now, you guys, I want you to really understand that sew-ins can help you get extremely long hair. Even though I'm sewing in 28 inches of weave, you best believe that her real hair can be 28 inches of length, and it will, okay? Especially messing with me. Messing with me, you gonna get some long hair. I'm not one of them other hairdressers. You come to me, boo-boo, listen, you gonna see some inches. Ain't no way I'm gonna be doing your hair for like 3 years and you ain't got at least waist length. It's my job. I ain't just gonna be taking your money now. I'm gonna give you your money's worth. Okay, so if you are in the South Florida area and you need a reliable sewing, come to me, because when it comes to that needle and thread, boo-boo, I got it on lock, honey. So I am here locking those threads, and make sure you knot your threads. It is very easy. It's basically sewing. Okay, you want to make sure you knot your threads so the sewing does not come out. You want it to the point where this sewing is permanent. The only way it's coming out is if you cut it out, and if you don't cut it out, it ain't coming out. That's how I do my sewings. I stitch the threads very close together, because ain't nobody trying to be combing or brushing their hair extensions and the comb get caught or the brush get caught. Nah, we ain't doing none of that. We need it to be in there. Okay? So I am just stitching her along and taking my time, not going too tight, not tugging too tight, making sure that I can fit all 3 hair extensions into her hair. We are not using a lace closure. We are not using a frontal. We will be leaving her hair out. You guys, the reason why she chose this type of extensions is because she did not want to be straightening her hair. And with this type of hair extensions, you really can just leave your hair in a blow dried state and it will really blend in nicely. I will show you at the end. Yes, this will blend nicely with 4C hair. All you got to do is add some oil, tie it down, give it a little blow dry. You don't need no flat iron, and it's going to blend. And the great thing about these hair extensions is that when you wet it, girl, it look like you leaving out the ocean, honey. This thing looks so good when it's wet. And if you wanted to just blend in your natural hair with that, you can either use a wand curler and add it on low heat, or you can just add some gel to your hair and try to like gel it in there, or use some mousse and twist and manipulate your hair to blend with these hair extensions. So I am almost through. I am halfway through sewing in her hair extensions, and this is really, really easy, you guys. If you learn how to braid, you can learn how to do a sewing. And a sewing is very beneficial. There's no adhesive. It will not pull your hair out, especially if it's done right and if it's removed right. So please get into sewings. In fact, sewings are making a comeback. You do not have to lose your edges and you'll leave out with a sewing. Just get a hair texture that your hair can mimic. Make sure you get hair extensions that are good quality, and make sure you customize it by making it the exact color of your hair. If your hair is a number 2 or off black or dark brown, make sure you color your extensions the same color so it can have a better blend. If you have to use heat protectants, use your heat tools on low. So we are all done. Look at this, girl. And she didn't leave no edges out on the side, and I just sewed it up, and you don't need no edges left out, girl. This sewing is like a fully protective style. She just has a little bit of the middle of the top of her hair, and look how that blends. Girl, make sure you're subscribed. See you in the next one.